space being red, because we had talked a little bit about maybe just these two walls.
What, these two walls?
This wall and this wall,
And
the
then
ones that
what
you see
would
when you
y'all
walk in.
suggest for these two?
That's where,
Because I already like the idea better.
okay.
Cutting it up a little bit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Usually we try to find a neutral color that works for you, neutral color that's going to start to shape the palette. So if you want to, if you think about how these colors work, I guess if you want it to be more like crisp and more.
You got? I think you choose this one
we
for
pulled,
the
yeah, we pulled a
rest
few neutral colors.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's ways to do it. I mean, if you want it to be more like crisp and industrial, then you would want to go with cool colors. But if you want it to be a little bit more like warm and inviting, then you go with a warmer paint
Warm
palette.
and inviting for the front, 100%.
So something like this, potentially.
Yeah, I am a fan.
Okay, and I may even tweak that a little bit just to get something that doesn't have any hint of red in it, but is still a warm color, because what I don't want is I don't want this to look, I don't want it to look pink. And again, we're not in the best light, so I want to look at this in the light. But if you're doing something like that, I think then you'll, have a nice balance. This is, okay, so.
The other one was like Willow Wheat or something. Dusty Trail, the one y'all picked. It was something wheat.
Too much pink, I didn't like it.
And what you would end up doing with this color then is you could carry this color throughout spaces that don't necessarily have an accent. This could be your general paint color that represents the overall feel of the space.
Okay.
The
it's
background
like sort of
color.
like a consistent theme.
And I think we looked at it against the wall back there near your office, and it's very similar in tone. I mean, it's like one of these colors. It's what surrounds you, but this is the color that you know. The teal is the color that you make note of. This is the color that surrounds you and sort of gives you the foundation of the space.
Right.
That sort of gives you an idea of how that works.
Yeah, I'm totally into that.
Thank you. I'll be back now.
Bye, Allie. And then, so I can work with carpets in that general kind of, that gives me something to start with. Now, I think we talked about some green. Are you still interested in doing some green accents as well?
That was only in the back.
Yeah.
Because I was like, when people need to take their restroom breaks, I would like it to be refreshing.
Okay. Okay.
Instead of just like, hey, I gotta go use the washroom, that I'm also getting, feeling refreshed. Like when we were talking about having like a whatever color in here, like I picked out some sort of yellowish orange or something. And the reason why is because I was like thinking about actually having the bathrooms using some sort of citrus, what do they call it? Not breath freshener, air freshener, and I felt like that color with that sort of citrusy smell would also be refreshing. So, or if like you get some drink of water at the fountain, you got something just.
Okay. Well, what we may do then, I'm starting to sort of get a feel.
All right.
You may want to lighten some of your general colors.
Okay.
And maybe even cool them off just a little bit, because then you can start to play with those citrusy colors and have them be like
it all works together.
crisp.
Well, there's chemistry.
Right. So you're not just moving from a warm, this sort of space into the next sort of space, but
it's
it
not
all
like
has
a theme, different themes.
Motion. Yeah. And that's kind of what we want to end up with. So
yeah, I like it.
I think that could definitely work. Okay. So the green that we looked at, I think was, and I don't know if you guys looked at it any further. The green that I had pulled was a really dark green, but that may not be the direction you want to go.
Okay.
If you're talking about a fresher color,
yes.
What comes across to you? And this may not be the right.
I'm actually so bad with the greens because for whatever reason they all look sort of cool.
Yeah.
So I had the most trouble trying to pick out a good green.
Yeah, green is tough. I like almost all greens, so it makes it hard too. Because I want to use all of them.
Right. Yes, I was thinking like stripes.
You know, there's really no reason why you can't do fun things like that. It's just your painter. It's just
Right.
coordinating that with your painter.
Right.
You could totally do.
What if I paint it?
You could totally do like a graphic wall. You know, if you brought your green, if you come down this hallway and you open this door and you start to see the green. You know,
you bring up a good point, because I was
totally wrap
thinking
around there.
not seeing any green until you come over here, but again, I'm not at all opposed to it.
And if this is just for this space, then yeah.
If it's gonna make the whole vibe be more ill, if we have it over here, then I'm cool with that too. That's why we're talking to you.
Yeah.
Had anybody else put their pen and been like, do like some green here, I've been like, I don't know.
Glad you're here, otherwise I was
Yeah, I want it to. I mean, I know it's a small space and it's got, you know, twists and turns and narrow corridors, but not in a bad way. It's just I want them to be spaces.
That's why it
not
needs to count even more.
Well, right. They need to be spaces, not just hallways.
Of course, I'm 100% with you.
So yeah, if this is meant to sort of make this a space, then yeah, let's keep it over here.
Okay.
Because really, coming through this hallway and seeing this door is a little bit different message.
Right.
It's not the same as what this represents.
My idea with the doors, the steel doors in this hallway, was if they actually completely blended in with the color of the walls. I would prefer that, just to let you know.
Yeah, we did talk about that they could match the walls. And are these the only steel doors, or are these going to be wood doors or painted or
wood doors?
Wood door, yeah.
Okay. And we can either paint them, or were you planning on them to be stained?
I really did not think about it at all.
Okay. I don't know.
Stain is nice too, but
yeah, just depends on the look.
It depends on what kind of.
What colors you end up with, right?
Yeah, and what kind of door you have.
I have to ask that one from Mitch too. I don't know.
Is that a Joe thing or a Mitch? Yeah, I don't know if Joe has something already in mind. Okay. So,
you know, I wasn't here for a while when they finished the drawing, and then Joseph was gone, so
yes,
I
so
didn't get
right. I almost feel like I want to find. Now that I know the color direction that you're thinking, I almost want to get my hands on the carpet first and see where it, you know, what we find that works, so we can kind of tweak everything. With the tile, now, you know, when we specify materials, we sort of specify them with no lead times. I mean, in the ideal world, with a big, you know, with the way that we spec them and the way that we hold our materials here, we look at them from the perspective of budget, but not necessarily lead time, unless we know that we need something fairly quickly. So with your tile, I want to be really sensitive to the fact that it needs to be available. Not just in your budget, not just a, you know, a decent price, but it needs to be available. And I'm not sure, again, it's a matter of time frame. If it's something that your installer needs to put down fairly quickly, then we need to find out, number one, has he got someone specific he needs to purchase from? And what's the time frame for the tile? Because if that's the case, then I can work with a couple of different tile vendors and find out what's more available.
It's likely that we may be able to buy the materials ourselves. Well, we also went through the same thing with the lighting fixtures, and we got an okay. So it may be likely that we can do that, and also we still have studs that are being finished, walls that have to be hanging, HVAC systems, electrical.
Right, sure.
It's definitely, we've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks really until we've got to put floors down. So that's a pretty decent amount of time, I believe, right? No?
It's, well, in the way that our jobs run,
Okay.
it's really short.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why I want to be
okay.
sure.
Well, I mean, we have another 6 weeks too, if that's what.
But I don't want you to think really short, like this is not, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
in the way that my lead times, that I
Right.
usually work with lead times, that's a quick one.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that I pick something that's here, that's available to you, and if
Right.
your installer has any limitations on who you can buy from.
Okay.
And I'm just real sensitive to that, because oftentimes when you're dealing with an installer who's not one of these big commercial installers, sometimes they have accounts with certain people, and those are the
Right.
people they buy from, and the
I'll
choices get
definitely
limited.
ask
So.
our
But I
superintendent.
think Mitch didn't say anything because he said the only thing he said, make sure choose something that has like a bull nose or something like that. That was the only thing he mentioned to me. So probably we can buy from any.
Yeah.
Same thing. I choose whatever, and they told them they went and buy it and install it.
Okay.
So you can
Well,
choose
as long as
whatever,
that's
yeah.
possible.
Unless it's long time.
Yeah.
I mean, limitation for them.
Right, and that's the thing. Some stuff is, has to come over on a boat.
Yeah.
But a lot more stuff is in
right.
stock than
Right.
it used to be. So I can check on that.